Hey guys, today we're back in Roblox Studio, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys some tips on how to make your UI way better. So the first tip I'm going to be giving you is to add this little UI setting called a UI corner. I don't know if it's a setting or what it's considered, but all you have to do is add a frame or just anything like that, like a button. It just has to be visible, or else the UI corner doesn't affect anything. And the UI corner is really helpful if you have visible UI. Like if you just have a text button or something and then the background isn't visible, then this isn't going to affect anything. But if it is, then this is going to affect a whole lot. So I feel like this one's really helpful because, so on average, the frames and buttons they all have sharp corners. So look, let me just remove this for a second so you can see. So as you can see, they all have really sharp corners right here and like all along the sides. Then if you have the UI corner around it, and this makes your UI look way better. So this is gonna be really helpful. And then the next thing I would say is to do like the UI stroke. I feel like is gonna be really helpful. This is another UI thing. These are all just UI things. And then I don't think one looks good at all, so I would always just at least recommend 2 or something. But I feel like I like 5 because I like a tiny bit of a thicker one, but it looks way better with the stroke too. This isn't really necessary, this just makes it look nicer too. I feel like the UI corner, you should always have that. But then the next really helpful thing is going to be this plugin right here for UI, Auto Scale Lite. I have Auto Scale Nightly. This is the paid one. It only costs like 150. There's also Auto Scale Pro, but they stopped updating Auto Scale Pro, so and it only costs 50 more Robux for Auto Scale Nightly. So I would recommend buying it if you can, but if you can't buy it, then just get Auto Scale Lite. There's not that many differences. It just makes the UI way easier. But there's gonna be this one thing. Let me see if it's still on this one. Yeah, it's called the on this one it's called the Smart Scale, but on the Auto Scale Lite it's called something else. So I don't know what it's called, but it's basically this thing where it adds this thing. Let me just show you. I don't know what it's called, but there's this. It's this right here. So the UI aspect ratio constraint, it adds this, and it auto scales it. So this one. So basically, what it does is it fixes the UI to each screen. So look, without one right now, I'm just gonna show you. There's this new cool setting they added where you can switch to a device, and look, the UI changes sizes when I switch back and forth. So you don't want that usually, and this only really happens on mobile. So if your game is only for PC players, then I think it's not gonna affect anything. I don't know about controller, but it shouldn't affect anything if it's just all PC players. But that's really helpful too. And then there's also this other thing with the unit conversion, and that one, it basically sets your UI to the right sizes. So you always want yourself to be on scale. So see, mine right now is on scale. That's because I have the setting on the Pro version or the nightly version. Yeah, that's one of the things you can do with the advanced one, is set it always to scale, never to offset. You always want it on scale. It's the other offset is just not, like, unless you want it for some specific reason, you should always go scale. But yeah, on light version you manually have to go in and you click on it, and then you go to plugins, and then your plugin unit conversion, and then hit the scale and scale for size and position. You would manually have to do that, but that's still not super necessary. But I feel like the one that's most necessary is the UI corner. It makes it way better. And the next thing I would say you should do is use the website or app called Figma, because that app is really good for making UI, and it's not just for Roblox, so it's like for other stuff too, but it's really good for making UI, and you should make your UI in there if you know how, or just watch a tutorial on how to. But the next tip I would say you should do is use all these layouts. So the layouts are all really good if you have like a shop or something, because the shop, so what it does is basically if you just duplicate, it just like positions everything. So an example would be if you like duplicate your frame or something, like let's say you have a button, let's say you have a text button and you want to just duplicate it, but you would have to manually reposition it, and it might not be perfect. But if you add one of these layouts, it'll always be perfect, and you could change the settings around how like you want it positioned, and then every time you duplicate your button or something, it will always be like perfect. perfectly organized, and it'll look really nice, and it'll always adjust everything else to the same button. So if you have like too many buttons, I'm pretty sure it'll make all the buttons smaller or something like that. But it fixes everything, and you should do that if you're using like a shop or something that has multiple text buttons in the frame. But that's going to be all my tips. I hope this video helps. This is going to be the end of my video. Subscribe to help the channel. Bye!